Hi everybody, this is Crazy Cat 7. Welcome to Overwatch. In this video today I'm going to discuss the recent launch of the Overwatch League, which happened on Thursday the 11th of January. And the first week of matches is complete. And now I'm going to rank the top 10 teams on how they performed over the weekend. But there are 12 teams in the Overwatch League. At the start of this video, I'm going to get I'm going to rank the 12th and the 11th team out of the way, and then I'll get officially into my top 10. So without further ado, I'm going to get 12th place done now. So taking up 12th spot would be the Shanghai Dragons. In my personal opinion, I think this is one of the weakest teams in the whole league. Not because they have got bad players, I think they haven't got the strength and depth. So I think they're going to be around the bottom of the league throughout the whole season. They might nab a win now and again, but they won't push for the top place. So that was 12th. 11th position, I'm ranking Florida Mayhem. Again, they haven't got a bad roster of players, but it's quite thin. It's with only 6 players, and I think most teams in the Overwatch League have between 7 to 9 players. So I think this team is going to be close to the bottom of the league as well. I think due to the very thin roster, and I think fatigue will probably play into that factor. I can see them probably getting a couple of wins throughout the season, but they're going to remain near the bottom of the league. So that is 12th and 11th ranked teams out of the way. Without further ado, I'm going to now start the official top 10. So here we go. Number 10 is San Francisco Shock. So their first game they lost 4-0 to LA Valiant, but then they went on to redeem themselves by beating Shanghai Dragons 3-1. So they redeemed themselves in that match. But yeah, I think they got a decent roster of players. I think they're going to be low to mid-table team to finish, but this is only the first week, so hopefully the second week they may find their rhythm and come into fruition and start possibly getting some wins under their belt and maybe progress up the rankings. So that was San Francisco Shock, ranked at 10. So number 9 would be Number 9, Houston Outlaws. The reason I've ranked Houston at number 9 is because they had some decent performances over the weekend, but couldn't get over those final hurdles. The first match they lost 3-2, so it went to a 5-game series, and it was a very good series of maps and very close. And then the second one they lost 3-1, so they have the ability to take points off teams, but they need to just get that over that final hurdle and win the games, which I think will happen hopefully in week 2. They got some good players on their team. They got Jake, who was on the United States team in BlizzCon quite recently. They also have Ruckus, Boink, Linksa, Clockwork, Bane and Muma. So they've got some really good players there, and hopefully now they can find their right foot in for week 2 and get some wins and climb up the table. So that was Houston Outlaws at number 9. Number 8, Philadelphia Fusion. Now this team was quite unknown. They didn't play a pre-season game at all, so I think a lot of people were going to rank them quite low, but they surprised. They beat Houston in the first match 3-2, but then they went to lose 4-0 in the next match. But overall, their performance was really good, even though they didn't have any preseason matches. But with some players like Boombox, Carpe, Fraggy, Shadowburn, Neptuno, and Dayfly, and Poco, they look a strong team. I think they're going to challenge mid-table, maybe higher, maybe into the playoff positions. But I think this was the surprise team on the weekend. And I know I've only ranked them 8th, but that overall it was a good performance by them. And I'd like to see more from this team. I think they can push themselves a bit more. Yeah, that was number 8 with Philadelphia. Number 7, LA Gladiators. The reason I ranked LA Gladiators number 7 is they had some good performances the weekend. They won one, lost one. Their opening game was against Shanghai Dragons, which they won 4-0. But then they went on to lose 4-0 to the league favourites, which was Seoul Dynasty. But they held their own against Seoul Dynasty. They give them a good game. They give them a run for their money. And I think that was really good performance by LA Gladiators. You know, it was a team not to be underestimated. And also they have a good roster. They have Asher, Shawfor, Irie, Biska, Saz, Hydration, and Big Goose. Only 7 players on their roster. But it's a very good roster as well. So I think they'll be challenging from mid-table up quite high. So look, nice to see some good plays from LA Gladiators. Hopefully they can push themselves now in week 2. Number 6, Boston Uprising. Now, this might come as a surprise to many people. Either rank Boston's above LA Gladiators, but I think their performance over the weekend was slightly better than LA. But so that's why they've taken this spot. And it was a team that a lot of people were predicting to be one of the weakest, especially me. They lost their first match 3-1, but then to come out and win the next match 4-0 was just amazing. And they've got some surprisingly good players. They have Dream, Casper, Snow, Gamsu, Note, Neko, Avast, Striker, Kalios, Mistakes, and Kelska, which they all played, I believe, over the weekend, and they all did some outstanding performances. I think this team is, even though it's quite young, I think it's one for the future. I think it's going to be building up, and they can progress. And this team is not to be like a pushover team. It's going to be one that's going to push other teams to the limit and test their mentality. So I think Boston Uprising are going to do quite well in the Overwatch League. So yeah, Boston at number 6. Number 5, Dallas Fuel. Okay, so Dallas Fuel had a rough first week. They played Seoul Dynasty in their first game, which they lost 2-1, and I'm not being funny, that was a fantastic game. Plus as well, to take a point off Seoul Dynasty is a great achievement. Plus to draw the 4th map, which I think was New Barney, that's another achievement itself. And then the next match, they lose 3-0 to LA Valiant. Again, they drew another map, so they didn't have the whitewash. But overall, even though they're bottom of the standings, the first 2 matches were rough for them. But overall, I think this team did the performances which were expected of them. Even though 2 tough matches they lost, they really pulled out all the stuffs to try and get the victories they wanted but didn't get. But they have got a very strong roster as well. They have Chips, Harry Hook, Mickey, XQC, Seagull, Taimu, Casca, Coco, and Effect. So that's a very strong roster there. I can probably see Dallas coming back in second week and winning matches, and they will be pushing definitely the top 5 position in the Overwatch League. Dallas is a team to watch out for. So Dallas at number 4, New York Excelsior. Now this is one of 3 all-Korean rosters. They had fantastic performances on the weekend by winning both the matches 3-1 each. They have a very strong lineup and very experienced lineup of Overwatch players. I'll just name some of them for now. You have Celiobi, who people rate as the best tracer in the world. Go watch the matches he was in as tracer. He's phenomenal. It's unbelievable. Mako. Got Pine. Pine is a scary player. He only played 2 maps for New York over the weekend. Is basically like saying, if they are trying to bully us, we'll just bring this guy out. And playing as a Widowmaker and McCree on Helios both times, and his headshot accuracy is just unbelievable, scary. And then we got Janice, Jonak, Mano, Librio, and Ark. So it's an all-Korean roster with some fantastic players. This team's seriously going to push for the Overwatch League title, I reckon. They're going to be up there, definitely. Going to make a name for themselves in this Overwatch League. So that was New York Excelsior. Number 3, Seoul Dynasty. Now, I've ranked Seoul Dynasty number 3. Even though they are the league favourites to win it all, I don't know. Even though they did win both their matches of the weekend, but I think their players, some of their players underperformed, that didn't live up to what people expected them to perform at, if that makes sense. It's like half the team I know were in the Overwatch World Cup team that competed at BlizzCon, in November and won it, which is a brilliant feat and all, but I think maybe the expectation on their shoulders is too high. Maybe they think this team won the World Cup. They think, oh, they're going to win the league now as well. It may not be the case, Their roster is very, very strong. They've got Bunny, Myro, I can't even say that name, sorry. Exciter, Guide, Wicked, Munchkin, Zumba, Cookie, Toby, Ruja Hong, and Flitter. So these players know what they're doing, and some of the members of the team did underperform on the weekend, especially the tank players. I didn't feel that I'm not saying they had really bad games, just I think people have put the expectations so high for them. They underperformed, but they were solid though. So you can probably see Seoul Dynasty are definitely going to be up there, very high position. But I've ranked them at number 3, Seoul Dynasty. Number 2, London Spitfire. Now London Spitfire is the 3rd all-Korean team, and they won both of their matches on the weekend. They beat Florida 3-1 and then Philadelphia 4-0. Their performance in both matches was outstanding, especially when Florida took the first map on Dorado. They won that map, and then London Spitfire just upped the game, and then just wiped the floor of them for the next 3 maps, which was unbelievable. And then as well, when they played Philadelphia Fusion, they just were outstanding. It was overall probably one of the best performances on the weekend by this Overwatch team, and their roster is really strong as well. You got Gesture, Birdring, Fuja, Dawson, Nas, Hurig, Rascal, Fury, Hogapan, Hural, Prophet, and Closer. So these are for some fantastic Overwatch players. Prophet had a fantastic weekend on the DPS. He was amazing. Fury as well as a tank player, which is great. Jester as well. He was a tank player. He had he had player of the match against Philadelphia. So it just shows how experienced and developed this London Spitfire team is, and they're definitely going to be challenging, in my opinion, for this Overwatch League title. Without a shadow of doubt, they're going to be definitely challenging for it. They're going to be up the top. So that is the London Spitfire at number 2. And we'll finish off on Poster Girl. Where is she? There she is. Number 1, LA Valiant. Now, this team really surprised me on the weekend. I watched them in pre-season. They looked strong. They looked fantastic, and I thought they were going to be mid-table team. They're going to finish. I thought, oh, this team looks good. It's going to finish mid-table, but they were the outstanding team for this weekend, the opening weekend. They just went above expectations, in my opinions. First game they had, they won 4-0, and then to beat Dallas 3-0, which is another top team, and I think a lot of pundits would have said, at the start of the season, Dallas would finish higher than LA Valiant. I don't think that's the case. I think LA Valiant were the dark horses in the opening weekend. People didn't expect much from them probably, but their performance was fantastic, and I think this team, with its experienced line in their roster, you've got Silkfred, Grim Reality, Cave, Fate, Verbo, Envy, Space, Noomlocked, Unco, Abilities, and Soon. These players, I think a lot of people thought, like I said, they're going to finish mid-table, but no, I think this LA Valiant is going to be challenging as well for the Overwatch League title. In my opinion, they were the overall outstanding team for the opening weekend, and I think they're just going to keep this motion going throughout the whole season. I think they're going to be the big teams like London, Seoul, New York, Dallas. They're going to, I know Dallas has already lost to them, but obviously when they play them again, those teams I just mentioned, they're going to look and think this is going to be the make or break game for them, and to get them in where they want to be in the league standings. So London, Seoul, New York, Dallas, this is going to be the team you're going to look out for, as well as the other teams like Boston, obviously the other Los Angeles teams, the Gladiators, Fusion, Houston, San Francisco, Florida and Shanghai. This is, I think, the team to beat in the league. From the performance in the weekend, this is going to be the team to beat. They were just so organised. All their attacks were well organised. They knew where to dive in, pick off the support of the back line, just cause hassle, and it got them on the board where they wanted to be. So yeah, number one team performance for the weekend, Los Angeles Valiant, and I think it's probably going to be the team to beat in the Overwatch League. So this has been Crazy Cat 87 with my top 10 of the Overwatch League teams. I hope you enjoyed watching the video of me ranting on a little bit sometimes. Please leave a comment below. You know, this is my opinions at the end of the day. Your opinions might be different to mine, so I'd like to have a discussion in the comments and hear your opinions as well, and how you rank the teams personally. You know, I'd like to hear that, and discussion be great. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and this has been Crazy Cat 87. Ta-ra for now.